MBG Institute. Hello. Hi, Bella. Thank you for joining us this lovely Sunday evening. I'm waving at you. I can see you. I learned from the best. Okay, I learned from the best. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to wave at you, MBG Institute, but I don't know why this is not going. But anyway, welcome. It's not waving. The wave button is not working, but you know I can see you. So welcome, guys, to today's IG live session, and it's definitely one that is so dear to my heart. And this topic is actually one that is very, relatable for all across all gender and age group and strata of life. Thank you. I am Akin Kumi for joining. I can see you. I just got a message that distracted me. No. Okay, so let me focus now. Thank you. I am Akekumi. I'm also waving at you. Thank you for joining this lovely Sunday evening. And as usual, I always take a minute to share across all platforms that we are live and that we're doing something quite phenomenal this evening. I'm sorry if you have a bit of background noise. It's a full house where I am today. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why we're starting this IG live late. I had to sort some internal issues and to prepare for this. So if you're hearing one or two background noise, it's a full house, and I'm actually so glad to have the house to be full at the moment. Victoria, hi, nice to see you again. Thank you for the last time we were together. It was such a beautiful time. So yes, let's take a minute to share across all our platforms that we are live, and we're doing something quite phenomenal this Sunday evening. Let's share it across. I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to be off for some seconds and I'll definitely get back. All right, I'm back, and I believe you also shared the message as well to let people know that we are live. So for today's discussion, we're talking about emotional wholeness. We're talking about maintaining wholeness by satisfying our emotional needs, and this, I believe, is quite relatable. Is what each and every one of us can relate with, is what we've had to deal with at one point or the other in our lives, and it's so good to do this. Hi Sarah, I can see you. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so and today in today's discussion, I have someone who's very dear to me join me on this discussion. And as usual, like every other speaker I've had to share their wealth of wisdom with us. There are people that have actually worked in this line on their own. Thank you, VOS community, for joining us. I can see you. Okay, so I was saying that these are people that have definitely walked the path of the topic that that I call them to share with us. So today, in today's discussion, I have someone who has also, had to deal with one emotional issue or the other, as to every one of us as well in our private lives. So yes, it's going to be an interesting time. I definitely believe it will be, and I'm so glad to do this. So Bella, if you're still on this call, please confirm for me and send in your requests to join me on the screen. I cannot wait to have you on the screen with me, so that there can be two beauties on the screen. It isn't just one beauty. Two beautiful women on the screen. So please, I'll be looking forward to your request just now, dear Bella. And while we're waiting for that, please, as usual, confirm for me if you can hear me clearly and you can see me well. Hi, babe. Thank you for joining. Okay. on the screen in 3, 2, 1, and be on the screen. Okay. Hello. Hi. Good evening. How are you doing today? So yeah, actually, like we definitely had to have two beautiful women on the screen, not one. So yes, so good. You're free to check yourself out. Actually, you're definitely free to check yourself out. Yes. All right, that's so good. Thank you so much. Clearly. Oh yes, yes. You can hear me clearly. You can see me clearly. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. All right, so going straight to before we go straight into the discussion, first I would like to appreciate you, Darren, Farm Darren, for joining me on this call. Thank you for accepting our invitation, my invitation on behalf of the community, my virtual community. Thank you for accepting to, really come and share on this very sensitive topic. I know how sensitive this topic can be, and you accepted to, come and do this with us. I really appreciate you for that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So yeah, you're welcome. Definitely very welcome. Okay, so quickly, like I always do, I don't introduce the guests. I prefer they introduce themselves in their own words. So just quickly let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm super glad to be here. And I must say, you're looking so sweet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was worth the effort.
So, yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are hearing us from. My name is Adrian Soladibeson. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I love to be addressed as a beloved child of my father because I believe that that's what embodies everything that I am and do. And basically, I just love to see people rise to the highest level of their self and their God-given potentials, becoming all that God will have them do, regardless of whatever is going around in the environment. And and that was one of the things that led me to starting the YouTube channel, Light Up with Adrian Sola. So that's basically me in a summary.
Okay, you love the summary. It's definitely something we love. All right, so today we're talking about emotional wholeness, basically, and as human beings, we're emotional beings as well, whether people like to acknowledge it or not. And our emotions are a very crucial part of our makeup that we cannot, look down on, and we cannot belittle in any way. As humans, we have emotional needs. And to begin with, I just want to clear this here that when we talk about emotional needs, when we say as human beings, we're emotional beings, we're not talking about females, because a lot of people tend to believe that it's only females are very emotional. Like females can be very, very emotional more than the male counterpart. So to begin with, let's lay that foundation. That we're not talking about, it's not just about the females, it's both, it works with both gender anyway. So looking at this topic and the fact that we really need to address our emotional needs and not belittle them or play down on them is why we're having this conversation. And so I just wanted to share with us as a basis for this discussion this evening that how exactly can you describe the emotional part of us human beings, of men, women? How important can you really help us to see this aspect of our lives, if you can share with us?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I think I will start with, it's a common phrase that I believe that a number of us know, and that's how that, as human beings, we are social beings.
Yeah.
And there's something that I would always say, and I've always made it a mantra now, and it's how that, man was not designed to thrive in isolation.
Yeah.
And, our emotions is a very integral part of who we are. And I like the foundation you gave about how that it's not gender based, it's not a female
Right.
we all as humans, we have emotions, and in one way or the other, our emotions would go a long way in affecting, our overall productivity, how we go about life. Because,
Uh,
hey, something could happen right now, and then it changes your mood for like the entire day, and then you're all worked up and all of that. So I believe that emotions for we as human beings, whether female or male, is an integral part of us, and it's something that we need to pay attention to, and
yes.
have a level of mastery in order to be able to enjoy life and live a good life. And I think basically that.
Oh, thank you very much. And I absolutely love the part where you shared that, our emotions are actually a very important aspect of our lives, and we actually need to learn the mastery. We need to actually master emotions and own our emotions, master it, make it to, work for us, which is going to lead to my next question, which we've talked about the fact that it's important for us to look into that aspect and take our emotional needs seriously. So our emotions, just to clarify it for anyone who's on this call or is going to watch this video later, our emotions, is it a blessing or a curse? Can it be viewed as a blessing or a curse? Is it an enemy or a friend? People have different beliefs and feelings about emotions generally, especially, and I think that's also why people tend to attribute being emotional to women and then not being emotional to men, because lots of people out there see being emotional as something that is derogatory and on the negative side. So just let us get it. Our emotions, our emotional well-being, the way we react in terms of our feelings, because maybe someone does not really understand what's the emotions, your feelings, the way you feel about certain people, certain things, certain circumstances. Is it an enemy or a friend, a blessing or a curse?
Thank you for that question. I think that our emotions are a blessing, because just imagine we being in a world that's an emotionless world. Everybody just pretty much doing like just talking about no emotions and all of that. And however, as much as our emotions is a blessing, um, because of our peculiarity as human beings, and the people that we interact with and all of that, the fact that a lot of things can trigger different emotions. Things happen, life happens, and all of those
Yeah,
things.
definitely.
I think that's where the place of leveraging, let me put it that way. I believe that there's a way we could leverage on our emotions for our betterment. And I strongly believe that emotions should not be a curse. It is a blessing, because hey, I can be happy, I can feel, I can be empathic towards someone, I can those, the good, both the good, the bad. And I believe that this is
Yes.
what every one of us. So I believe that we should see our emotions as blessings, and I personally believe that our emotions is a beautiful gift from God. So
Yeah,
we
right.
need to.
Right, right. Yes, I think I absolutely, not I think, I know that I absolutely agree with you that our emotions are actually, a blessing to us in the real sense of it. It was created by God for us to, feel. And the way we react, the way we feel actually helps us to enjoy life the more. you know we are able to take in love, we're able to accept love, we're able to give out love as well, we're able to enjoy the good things of life because of our emotions, we're able to to react to situations, even okay, that's on the positive side. Even looking at the negative sides of pain, of hurt, of disappointment, we're able to react towards these circumstances and situations to be able to know that okay, no, this is not meant for me, because you're feeling hurt or pained because that is not meant for you. And in the real sense of it, it's a nice reaction. We are able to know that okay, this is not for me, this is not what was created for me, this is not how I'm meant to live my life, this is not what is supposed to be my norm. So yes, even the negative emotions in that sense also, it's a blessing because it helps us to know what to accept and what to reject. It helps us to know where to draw the line. It helps us to know this is okay and this is where it is. And which will now lead to my next question. Because in the world where we have today, a lot of people are gradually putting on this mask of in a sense self-defense, in a sense whereby they are trying not to be unemotional. They are fronting this hard girl or hard guy kind of thing, which are in some people for some people has led even to their romantic relationships. They are just so stone-hearted. They don't want to, because of previous hurts and pain and disappointment, they don't want to open up to anybody again, any guy or lady anymore. Or even in terms of friendship relationships, some people don't want to just open up to friendship anymore. They just want to bottle everything inside and just be on their own. So what do you have to share with us as regards that, for anyone who is in that kind of situation, that is on this call at the moment or be watching this video later on? What exactly, what word do you have for them? Let me just put it that way. What word do you have for them? What message do you have for them?
Okay, thank you. So basically, I think one thing I would like to mention, because I remember when, you told me about the topic and all, and I'm like, hey, God, is this not a setup? Because basically, I would just like to say that, it's this topic particularly is something that, let me say that, is something that it's a sort of process for me as well. So I'm not coming here with the mind view or somebody that has it all figured out. Like is a guru when it comes to things like this. It's also a learning curve for me. It's a learning process. And I believe that for a number of us too, it's something that we are, day in, day out, we are gaining mastery of our emotions, knowing what works for us, what doesn't, what we can maximize, and, what we can, use as an advantage rather than something that it's like a disadvantage. Well, that being said, you mentioned about how that it seems that we are in a world where a lot of people are going about with these marks. We don't want people to see us. We don't want people to get to us, maybe because of past experiences, which are how do I put it now? It's justifiable. Let me say, whatever everybody believes that is the reason them being masked and all of that. Let me say that you understand what what is wrong, and I'm not going to say that maybe it's justifiable or not justifiable, because we all have whatever things happening and all of that. But one thing I would like us to know and to always remember is that life happens,
Yeah.
and that we are in a world such as this. I like the fact that we laid, the basis on how emotions are, how that it could be a blessing and not a curse and all of those things. I believe that these emotions, the happy ones, the sad ones, the not so great ones, they're like basic ingredients that makes us up as human beings. They're like the spices, the seasonings that when you cook a very delicious meal, there's a lot of things that goes into it. So those things, the happy moments, the sad moments, the what have you, it's basically what makes life the way it is. It's like what spices up, how.
Yeah.
So life happens. We know that at various times you could have had things happen to you, for you, around you, things that could have made you feel like, hey, I don't think I'm doing this anymore. I don't want to get hurt, or maybe it could be maybe friends hurt, relationship, bad goals, shages from different angles. I are like, no, I'm not just doing this again. And there's just this adage, this Yoruba adage that comes to play. I'll try to translate it as as much as I can in English, and it talks about how that if we kind of close our eye, because maybe bad people are moving, let's say bad people are moving past us and all of that, and then you decide that, oh, I'm just going to close my eyes and let all the evil people go away. The adage says that till the good person, maybe the good person that you are really, really on the lookout for, passes you by, you won't know, because you just close your eye to the fact that, oh, it feels like bad energy is here. Let them
Far
just
away.
pass. Let the good person come and see me. And because your eyes
Yeah.
are closed, you don't see the good person or the good people that would pass you by. And it just brings us to the fact that we need to understand as human beings that things happen. And I think that a perspective to have is that some of these things happen for a reason. If if we all can share maybe experiences we've had with people, with us, and things that has happened to us in the past, we can all attest, at least most of us. For some might still be on the journey, but for some of us, we could attest to the fact that these experiences made us even way better. At the point that it happened, or at the time that the Shege Pro Max was happening, you might not see the good thing there. You might not see the good, like the silver lining at the end of the tunnel. But years after, months after, you just look back and you're grateful for that seemingly sad experience that you've had to go through. So I believe that as much as it's okay, it's human to want to say, oh, I want to guard my heart. I want to guard my heart from whatever hurt there is. I just want to keep myself. Nobody should come near me. Just stay in your lane. Let me stay in my lane. You cannot maximize, as we cannot even, how do I put it now? We cannot enjoy all the goodness that comes with, thriving in social environments, having social connections with people, because the very bad people you feel like you are masking up for, they might be there, but these people that are meant to be of help, good people, like that adage says, till they will pass, you would not even know, because you are continually masked up, and there's no way you would know that, oh, this person, this person would do me better, or this person, is coming up with something better. So I would just encourage such people. I would encourage such people that, as much as we are trying to stay all guard up, and maybe we're just healing from it all time, we feel like the best way to manage it is to just stay off people, is that we have to, it's a really, because I feel like it's something really deep, because for some people they've had legitimate reasons, like
experiences.
When we say that legit, like if this person can just say that I don't want to even talk to any human being again, it's justifiable. But we need to understand that, to enjoy the beauty of life, to actually live life fully, there's a whole lot of, a whole lot of evolution, forgiveness, just name it, that would have to go on. So if you have whatever reasons you have to be marked up, and your thoughts are heavy and just want to stay away, I can still assure you that there are good people out there. There are good people, amazing, wonderful people. And I trust that with time, and if you happen to be a believer, you have the advantage of the Holy Ghost. And I know that with time is the healer of wounds, they say. So regardless of what might have happened or what is happening, just having that mindset that it can only get better, and there is actually a light at the end of the tunnel, even if it is not looking at it at the moment. Believing and having that kind of mindset can also help to, do away with the marks. Gradually, you are getting used to having people around you, opening up to people again, coming out of odds and bad experiences to come and to trust again. It takes a lot of process, but it can definitely happen if if you are, how do I put it now? If you have that mindset of there's light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of what life is throwing at you, or what life is throwing at you presently, or what people have shown you. There are definitely better people out there. There are good people out there. There are amazing people out there. The people you've met is just a fraction of the big the bigger picture of people out there. So basically.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and I believe that someone definitely got something for that. And before we go on, I have someone very special on this call. My mom is on this call. She just joined this call now. She's on this IG live. So special shout out to Yetunde Akin. That's her username. I'm super glad to have you join me, mommy. Thank you so much. I can see your message. Thank you. All right, so yes, I also can I absolutely recognize every other person that joined this call while we were having this conversation as well. I think I started midday 8. Thank you. Uncle Sugar, thank you. Daniel Abenkunde, thank you. Tina, Dr. Tina, thank you. I am Erat, thank you. And No Breezy, thank you for joining us. All right, so yes, thank you for sharing that word for that person who has just decided to bottle up things and just decided to be on their own lane. and it's absolutely very phenomenal. So let's say there's someone who really had that message and wanted to, just try things out again in terms of relationships and in terms of being very real with their emotions, or anyone at all that want to put on this attitude of being real, or just for all of us. What are the necessary mindset, attitudes, things that we need to put in place? Just like the scripture says that we should be as gentle as a dove and as wise as a serpent. As much as we are trying to go all out there to really be real with our emotions, to really feel, despite the fact that your life is about taking risk, and you're definitely taking a risk by going out there again. So what are the toolkits that we need? What are the things that are necessary for us, to be up our game and not to be vulnerable to hurts and pains and disappointments?
Okay, thank you. So basically, I think it starts from the place of acknowledgement, because we have to come to the place of acknowledging that, hey, I've been hurt. This thing really, really entered my bone marrows. Like I can feel it inside. I feel like a lot of times people just carry on with maybe all baggages from the past and all, and they just move on. Like I
It
feel like it's
happens.
also a things for some people. They feel like maybe not thinking about it, not dwelling on it, will make them forget, easily. But just like you having a wound, and you're not treating the wound, you're just, maybe just covering up with something, you're not doing anything to it, you're just shall leave it there, let it just stay. The thing will keep decaying. If care is not taken, it will worsen the condition of that wound if care is not taken. So there's a place of acknowledging the fact that, oh yes, I've been hurt, maybe so person did this to me, and all of those. And I think this would also bring us to a place of introspection, where you see, okay, what could have been the factors that led to it happening? Did I have a role to play in it? The other parties involved, what roles did they play in it? But were there issues of boundaries? Were there issues of, maybe a lot of red flags that I noticed, but I just felt like, oh, things will be fine or things will get better. Those things will help us to think about, okay, where did I go wrong, and what can I do better? Acknowledging the fact that, okay, this thing hurt, and then, okay, the way forward now, how do I ensure that these things do not repeat itself, and how do I ensure that I do better, with my relationships, my emotions going forward. And this might lead into, series of healings, having to forgive. And I think this is like the major part for a lot of people. They need to let go and say that, at this point, I think I've actually just forgiven you, and just let go, and and there's this peace, to be honest, there's this, I don't know how to explain it, that comes from, getting to that point that regardless, a lot of times you are thinking in your head, I think I'm the one at fault, I think it's this person at fault, and all of those things. But coming to the point where you can say that, okay, I've really let this matter go, I've forgiven you, things are fine. And then from there, you can start looking out for, it's a step by step thing, because I feel like I'm saying it in these quick processions, and it feels like it doesn't work that we know that it takes time. But at first, once you've acknowledged, you've gone through the process of healing, knowing what could have caused it, might not have caused it. If you need to set some boundaries to help you in future, relationships and encounters, you could. And from then you can decide that, okay, I think I'm ready to like give people a chance again, and then one step, and also knowing that, knowing the, how do I put it now, that man is not perfect, nobody is perfect, and it's normal for some of these things to happen. People will hurt you, even the best. And it's funny how that is the people closest to you that have the capacity to hurt you the most. So knowing that we are human beings, we are not perfect, things will happen. Do you get? But I believe that when you've maybe learned from previous experiences, okay, this is where I think I got it wrong earlier, this is where I think I could have done better, and looking at factors that you can control, because a lot of times you might put the whole work on, oh, what this person will do, if this person will do this for me, if this person will do this for me, and forget that you might not be able to control what that person does, or what the new set of people will do or not do. But what you can do will really go a long way. So what are the things that you can control? What are the things you can do better? What are the things that you can, maybe improve on, things that you can stop doing, things that you need to put some boundaries in check to just be sure that you're not going overboard with anything. And then lean into communities, church, we have support groups, whatever it is. I think church, for believers, I think church is a very great place to, develop friendships, meet people, gradually. I believe that some of these things will help. And if you could get books, books on the emotional intelligence, resources, communities. People now have like communities that talks about friendships. I know a couple of them on Instagram now that they are basically, the goal of the community is to help people build friendships, lasting friendships and relationships and things like that. If you need support from people like that, you can reach out to them, get their resources, maybe join their groups, volunteer, do whatever it is. And like knowing the things that we've mentioned, before now, man is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. You are not perfect. So going with that mindset, and things happen. So even if you try again and you still saw another shaggy Pro Max, still continue trying, and one day you will get to the promised land.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing those words with us. I mean, I absolutely think that they are fantastic, and I just want to highlight one or two of them. And the first thing I want to highlight is the fact that we should all go with the mindset of forgiveness. Like, this person is also human. This person can hurt me. This person may hurt me. Not this person will hurt me. Not like you're going with an expectation that you will be hurt, but you know that this person is human and this person can hurt you. So going with the mindset of forgiveness, like even before it happened, you already have the mindset of forgiveness. I think this is something that we all, not just for anyone who has suffered any hurt in the past, even for those of us, because I'm not sure, I've not had any major hurts in terms of relationship actually. So I think I can safely put myself in that category. So even for those of us that have not been hurt, it has not had no major hurts in the past, it's still necessary for us to be ready to prevent anyone coming up in the future. So we all need to go with this mindset of forgiveness. You're forgiving in advance, knowing that this person is human and this person can hurt you. And also another very major thing I want to emphasize on is the fact that as the other person is human, you are also human. So it is very possible, and chances are, the same way you're feeling like this other person has hurt you, you've also hurt this other person unknowingly. So it's not just about them being the bad person and you are being the good person, in quotes, they being the bad person. No, you are human, they are human. The same way they offended you or hurt you, whether intentionally or non-intentionally, it's possible you've also hurt them unintentionally. So I think if we all have this mindset, it will be very easy. It will be very easy for us to let go, and also it will be very easy for us to navigate through different relationships that we may find ourselves in. So yeah, I'm going to just emphasize on what people on this IG life are sharing with us. Someone said never give up, and absolutely that's the way it should be. In all our relationships, in fulfilling our emotional needs, never give up. And just to buttress at this point that each and every one of our emotional needs, our feelings, they are legit. Yes, let me emphasize this too. They are legit. So if you're on this conversation with us, if you're seeing this now or live or later on, whatever emotional needs that you have, they are legit. So don't let anybody, don't let any system, don't let anything play down on your emotional needs. Don't let anyone feel like, why are you being too emotional? You just need too much from outside. You're not good all by yourself. No. Although there is actually a thin line between you expressing your emotional needs and you just being so dependent on the outside, outside validation, because this is another major issue some people have. Some people are on the extreme of everything about them is from the outside. They need external validation for who they are. They need external validation for what they do. They need to be loved upon, and probably because of how they grew up, maybe they lacked parental care, love, and affection. People go through some of these stuff, and these are actually major, mental health issues for some people. But for those who are not on that particular side, those who are on the vast majority of maybe everyday odds, everyday disappointment and pain, your emotional needs are legit. Don't, as a guy, don't let anybody make you feel like you shall want a babe, you want a babe, you want a babe. Can't you live your life well without a babe? You should absolutely live your life well without a babe, but at the same time, there is a vacuum in you, that needs filling, because it was there to be filled by somebody to love on you, and that's actually very good to emphasize at this point. So next, I want you, the other time when you were talking, you mentioned communities, you mentioned books. I don't know if you know of any resources, particularly maybe books that you can share with us about relationships, about emotional wholeness and stuff like that, or maybe videos or any resources at all.
Okay. Well, I know that there are books on emotional intelligence. Remember, I know there's a particular book with that title, something about emotional intelligence.
Yeah, yes,
And I
there
know
is
that,
emotional intelligence.
and I know that, depending on the peculiarity of whatever it is, it could be maybe romantic relationships, regular friendships. There are tons of, books and resources out there. And for people, I don't know, I just keep mentioning for people that are believers, because I believe that we have like a lot of robust resources around us, books. We have books. There are people that I know, there are people that are into like relationship ministries, for people that are looking at doing better, for example, with their romantic relationships. I know Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo and his wife does something like that. I think they have like a ministry for that. There are people, the other one I mentioned about building forever friendships. I think BFF now, yes. Building forever friendships is for people that want to, give friendship a chance again, people that want to like have lasting friendships. So these are like communities. And then I know that there are resources, there are books out there, or depending on whatever, because like I said earlier, relationships and our emotions, it's something that it's large. There are
Yeah,
different
quite large. Mm-hmm.
has to do with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, because sometimes even some of these hurts that we talk about comes from family. So
Yeah.
depending on what it is that, whatever category you fall into, there are a lot of, resources out there. You can just also check online. Aside from the few ones I mentioned, you can check online. Belong to communities. One of them that I know that really helps to Immerse in Our Circle by DDK. There's actually a level for emotional people with emotional people that need emotional healing and all of those things. That's the cleanse pathway now. So there are a lot of resources there for people that are trying to master their emotions, get out of bad, relationships, get to love themselves. But some people, the emotions they even have, it's something that is deeply seated, deeply rooted, and seated right from childhood. Something
Yes.
that is innate. You get so different things like that. But I know that you have like, and you have resources, you have books, you have videos dedicated to emotional healing, emotional resilience, giving relationships a great shot. And we have so much resources online. Once your mind is keen on it, you can just check these things up. From there, you'll see a lot of things that could be of help to you and to whoever needs them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Just quickly before we begin to take questions, and before I ask this, I just want to share for those on this call with us. If you have any question, this is the moment where you can begin to drop your questions so that we can take them during, and I can take your questions before we end this conversation. So I want to ask, and I think it's actually very pivotal as well, the aspect of communication in emotional wellness and just maintaining our emotional health to be good and okay. And when I mean communication, I'm not talking about communication in terms of relationship, which could also be a part of it. I mean, communicating with whoever it is, your partner, your friend, or whatever it is. But I just want to also emphasize on the part of communication. Communicating your emotions, basically speaking about it. This is another very, very, very big and crucial part of it. A lot of people bottle up emotions and they just keep it all inside. Can you just share one or two things about communication?
Okay. Yes, like you said, communication is key, because there's this thing that my pastor's wife always say, that my pastor's wife, that even when it comes to your partner, let me say your spouse, your fiance, your romantic person you're in a romantic relationship with, a lot of times you tend to believe that, oh, this person should know me, know everything that I want. You're not communicating. The person is not a witch. The person cannot read your mind. Whatever it is that you call it, whether you are soulmate or whatever, does not mean that the person can actually see, maybe what is happening down there, like inside. And until we learn to communicate and let people, yeah, and I think that it comes with, evolving and, getting, having like a sort of mastery on our emotions, is knowing how to communicate. Oh, I don't like this. This, it's like there are times that you have to, in a way, show people how to
How to love you.
do, how to treat you,
Yeah.
because some people don't even know how to. And maybe you want to be loved in a particular way, you want to be, related with in a particular way, but this other person is, maybe you are on a A, the person is like on a Z. Person does not even feel it. Person does not even see it as a big deal. But to you, it's a big deal. It's okay to communicate and let them know that, hey, it's only God that sees our minds. No human being, unless you believe jazz or maybe word of wisdom or word of knowledge. You cannot read, basically we can't read minds. And until we learn to communicate, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. And it's not like you are being, because I feel there's also a part of people feeling like, oh, I don't want to say this thing too much. I did not say my own is plenty, or they will not say my own is too much. Pardon my my adaptation from, is it pidgin out to English or whatever it is. But it is very, very crucial. Communication is key, like Faye has mentioned. It's something that is very crucial in the mastery of our emotions, and how we communicate them, and how we relate with people. Because sometimes you need to help people so that they can help you. So if you know that this is a particular way I would like to be loved, this is a particular way I would love to be cared for, this is a particular way I would want to be treated, then it's okay to communicate, especially if the other party is not getting the memo. Like, okay, maybe you don't know. This is how I'll prefer this to be done this way, or I would love if you can, you could come in whatever form. So communication is key and a very important tool to mastering our emotions and, making the best of them and the most of people that we have around.
Okay, thank you so much. And in addition to what you said about communication, communicating with whoever it is, your partner or anyone, partner in this sense, not necessarily romantic relationship, just referring to the other person involved. In situations whereby you cannot even you may not be able to communicate with this person, or even if you're choosing not to for some reasons, the aspects of you communicating with someone else, just speaking out and just bringing out whatever it is that's on your inside out, just relating it with someone else and not just bottling up all your emotions, is actually very, 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 very pivotal. And that's also something I think we should emphasize on. Sharing it is there is absolutely no good in bottling emotions. There is absolutely no good in keeping stuff to yourself. Speak with somebody, a confidant, a mentor, someone who of course is much more experienced and you believe can offer you something, you know, comfort, wisdom, direction, counsel, anything of such. Anyone that can provide that for you is actually so good for you to do that. There is no good, absolutely no advantage in bottling up emotions. So yes, this is also very important. So in case you're even in a situation where you feel like, yeah, I've been saying it makes no difference to this person, You can also try to speak and communicate with someone who is an expert, and that's why we have therapists these days. That's why we have therapists. If you need a counselor, pay for a professional counselor, see a therapist if you need to. So no, for if you want to have emotional wellness, there is absolutely a no for you to bottle up your emotions. Glory to God. If you have a pastor that is accessible, speak with your pastor. Yes, amen. Okay, so yeah, at this point, I think I can see one question, and it's safe to begin to take questions at this point. So the first one here is, how can we master our emotions such that it doesn't drive or control us even while we communicate it? Okay, so I'm trying to imagine this, that you're trying to communicate your emotions, and you don't want it to control you. Do you get the picture? I'm trying to get the picture of this question. Darren, do you get the picture?
I think I'm seeing it as like, how do we maybe get a master of our emotions,
Okay.
and maybe we're trying to communicate it, it doesn't maybe end up in like an outburst of
Okay, yeah, I
emotions.
think so too. Maybe so you don't be angry. You're not angry while you're trying to communicate, and you're doing it in a, okay. Yeah, I think I get it too. All right, so please go ahead.
I hope you got the question.
Yes, yes.
And like I said, we are all a work in progress. I am a work in progress. And as regards mastering our emotions such that it doesn't control us, I think that if I'm going to, like, let me personalize the question. If it's something that it's really maybe something that is directly affecting me, I feel like if someone does something that maybe that really gets to me, or that needs to be addressed, the best thing I can do for my sake and for the sake of the person is to first how do I put it now? Is to first, I don't want to internalize it, but like, think about it. Like, I think it's the place of talking about maybe acknowledging it and just looking at it introspectively. Like, okay, this happened. Like, okay, I'm not so cool with it. What could have led to it doing this? Because I feel like the more I take time to like think it through, and again, I will also mention again, as believers, you can pray about things like this, especially when they are like sensitive issues or sensitive matters. There's nothing too big or too small to talk to God about, and I know that we know that. So we can actually pray about it. Oh, this thing is actually bothering my mind, or this person did this in a way that I didn't like or I didn't expect, and it's beginning to get to me. You can take time to think it through. If you can pray about it, pray about it. And I believe that from doing so, you'll get a level of how do I put it now? A level of clarity on how to go about it, such that by the time you are now, talking to the person about it, you've dissected it on your own already. So you've already checked the loopholes and all of that. So while communicating it, it doesn't result in like out anger or flare. But one thing I've learned is not to, especially not to like respond in that moment of, when somebody did something now, and my head is not sparking, like something's just like, no, never. And in that moment you're like trying to get the person to see that, oh, this is wrong, this is something. If you are not careful, another bigger problem will result out of you trying to resolve what is on ground. So I believe that, taking time to dwell on some of these things, pray if you can, just stay on it, and just let God help you to, to go about this. This is, I'm like personalizing it to say what I would do if I were to be in this kind of situation. I would probably just think about it first, okay, where did I go wrong? What are the possible things that could have been done better? And then, communicate it in a nice way, as nicely as I can to the person, so that one fight, another fight is not starting. In quotes. So I hope we're able to.
All right, thank you. Yes, yeah, I think you actually did a good job there. And I'm seeing Ayola's special shout out to you. I think you just go and reply to him right maybe later. Nice to see you, Ayola. So I'll be waiting for another question at this moment. While we're waiting for questions, let me also acknowledge the other people that joined us while we were speaking together. So yes, Doopsy signatures. Hi Tommy, I can see you. So you're still Dusaya. I can see you, and I'll see you later again tonight. AB Owalum, I. So Louine, hello. Tammy OG, so good to have you here. Master Doba. Okay. Thank you for joining. Hi Sharon. Thank you for joining me all the way from Ghana. Ikpa Denise, thank you. Grace Pels Photography, so nice to have you this time. And of course, legendary Ayoli, thank you for being here today. So I think we do not have any other questions at this moment, and it's such a great time to wrap up. It was so beautiful discussing this. I believe that you definitely learned one or two, and anyone who's going to see, everyone, not anyone, because people will definitely see this later, everyone who's going to see this later as well would have more than a thing to pick, and then would enjoy a better life with wholeness in their emotions. So yes, it was so nice doing this evening. Thank you so much, Darren, for joining me. It was Yola, please. It was a joy and a pleasure, to do this with you and to have everyone here. Thank you so much. So we'll be drawing the curtain tonight at exactly 5 p.m. West African time. I'll see you again in 2 weeks' time with a very special edition. This one is for ministry people, it's for pastors, it's for everything related to church ministry leadership. So I'm having a pastor join me on the next episode for this, and we're talking about the emotional side of pastors. So yes, pastors do have emotions. So yes, so they have emotions. So we're talking about the mental health aspects for pastors, ministry leaders, and everyone serving in the body of Christ. So thank you so much for joining us. Have a lovely time again.
Bye.
Bye.